All right, welcome everyone. We'll get started in just a moment or two while people trickle in. Thank you for joining us today. Hi everyone, welcome. As mentioned, we'll get started in just a minute. Just want to give everyone a time to join. Lots of folks coming in. Welcome. Just give it another minute and then we'll get started. Right, hi everyone. Thanks for joining. We still have a few people coming into the webinar. All right, let's see. 10:01, so we will go ahead and get started. All right, well, thank you all for joining us today. My name is Nicole Kaysen. I'm the event marketing specialist here at Consensus, and I am going to be your moderator for today's session. So this webinar is presented by Consensus, Transform How You Sell with Consensus, the first product experience platform. Automate demos, drive faster decisions, and accelerate growth. And you can learn more at goconsensus.com. So we have two very exciting announcements today. The first one is that we have another year of DemoFest. So we will be in San Francisco for DemoFest X on February 20th, and you can register at demofest.com or the link that I will post in the chat in just a moment. And then we are also excited to announce the Demis, which will take place on December 12th. So you can join us for an event that celebrates the art of the perfect demo. Watch the most innovative demos, get tips from top performers, and see who takes home awards. And you can RSVP today by using the next link that I will post in the chat in just a moment. And now, first, I'd like to encourage everyone to participate in today's webinar. Our speakers will answer any questions at the close of the event, but you're welcome to post your questions at any time through the Q&A box on the right side of your console. If at any time you have technical difficulties, please press the help button on the right side of your screen. And I would like to introduce our speakers. So Mike Triumfo, Brian Zerker, and Colin Smith guide the product strategy at Consensus, each contributing to the ongoing development of demo automation. With a focus on leveraging AI, scaling tools for pre-sales teams, and redefining product usability, their work collectively supports the platform's ability to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of GTM teams. Their leadership ensures that the product evolves in line with the needs of sales and pre-sales teams, aiming to make demos more relevant and user-friendly for both internal teams and their customers. So with that, I will turn the rest of the time over to Mike, Brian, and Colin.
All right. Thank you, Nicole. And thank you, everybody who is attending today. We appreciate the time you take it out of your busy schedule to visit with us. And really excited to talk to you about several things. Our product experience platform, the strategy and vision of our products here at Consensus, some recent updates. We're going to take you through a little bit of that. And then Colin is here. And you may have heard we joined up with a company called ReachSuite. And he's here to talk to you a little bit about that and how that's going to impact your experience with our product. And also, Brian Zercher is going to talk to us about some new features that we're recently releasing. And then I'll close a little bit at the end. Let's jump right in. All right. The future of demo automation is here. As you know, at Consensus, we are committed to buyer enablement, and it is extremely important to us. I think about the buyer all the time, all the time. In fact, I probably think about the buyer way more than I think about any other persona that participates in our platform. And the reason is because the buyer, when they have a great experience, they act, right? And we're seeing some shifting in buyer behavior. And there we go. And we're seeing this being impacted from the B2C community. And one thing I say is that there's a store in the US called Walmart. It gives me 6 ways to buy. I use all of them, right? If you want control when you're buying stuff, raise your hand. If you want to use the self-checkout, raise your hand, right? All of us want to have the reins as buyers. We want to be the one in charge of the transaction or whatever it is we're purchasing. And we see this happening in our day-to-day. 83% of the buyer's journey is completed alone without the seller's present when buyers are buying software. That means 17% of the time is where the seller is present. It's actually where all the sellers are present. So you get even a fraction of that. So you really got to make sure that the tools that the buyers are using in their own time that you're providing for them, and the tools that you're using for the fraction of time you have in front of them is very, very well used, very, very well set up, and very efficient. 75% of buyers prefer self-service, right? We all love the self-checkout, and 35% of remote possible workers love to work from home. And this is where the buyers are. This is the what's happening in the community affecting the buyer as they're purchasing software in the SaaS world today. Now, when I think about the buyer, I think about a journey, and I think about that journey going across either a funnel or the whole process of buying software. And at the beginning, you have one buyer show up on some website, let's say it's Consensus, and then they're like, "Oh wow, this is really cool." So they share some information about it. They get a demo board. They share some information about it with their friends. Then there's more people involved. They close the deal. Eventually, the buyer, onboards. And after they've done that with the software they're purchasing, they expand. And today at Consensus, we support mostly in this specific region and of the funnel of the buyer's journey, and we are expanding to be a full funnel, full journey support, and making sure that we can allow our buyers to have the tools they need right when they need it. We're really, really excited to continue to push our product experience platform out into these other areas, not just for folks in sales and in pre-sales, but we're seeing the pre-sales teams be pulled completely across the funnel. They're supporting marketing, they're supporting client success, and obviously supporting sales. So we want to make sure that we are giving you all of the tools necessary to be able to support all of those departments, and therefore the buyers as they move through their journey. If you've ever I want you to think about one of the best buying experiences that you ever had. Okay. And what was that like? And how did it make you feel? What was the emotion? Did you come home and brag about it? Did you text someone and say, "Hey, I just bought this thing and it was amazing"? Right. And the point here is sometimes buyers, because the experience of buying is better, they buy. They might be looking at two products. One is a little bit maybe better than the other, but they may buy the one that's maybe not as good because the buying process was better, because the the communication and the team of the company they're engaging with was better. And I think of places where you can buy goods in the US and you get really good strong service, and that those buying experiences are amazing, and it creates a lot of loyalty. So as we discussed, the future of buyer automation or demo automation, excuse me, is full funnel. We want to make sure that all of the departments can be supported with demo automation technology in our product experience platform. And as we were, back in, let's see, early this year, we took a step back and said, where can we improve our full funnel coverage? We have our Torch product and we have our on-demand video product, and we were thinking, well, we would love to have better support in the marketing area and in client success. And I went out and visited with a bunch of different folks out there, and eventually we decided to join forces with ReachSuite. And here today is Colin Smith, founder of ReachSuite, and I'm going to turn the time over to him and let him drive and tell you all about ReachSuite, how it's going to help you and your buyers in the buyer's journey. Colin.
All right. Good to see everyone. Thanks for making some time for us on this Tuesday morning, really, or evening for some of us. That is one of the reasons why we'll get to in a second why we chose, share my screen here, to partner with Consensus was because we're so grateful to join a global team and a global sales force and a global distribution arm. So I'm the founder and CEO of ReachSweep, now a Consensus company. And I'm actually, as a founder, believe it or not, I'm actually really excited and grateful for the day that we stopped calling it ReachSweep and we can only call it Consensus, because the reason we joined forces with Consensus is really, aside from these three things here, but to form the world's first product experience platform. And we're going to get to that. And I'm actually going to do a live demo, which is always fun. I trust our software, but it's always fun doing a live demo. And that's one of the problems that we actually solve for our customers. So we'll talk about that in a second. But a lot of people have been coming to me personally and professionally and saying, hey, why'd you sell to Consensus? Why'd you make that decision? And luckily, we were very blessed that we actually didn't have to. We had plenty of cash in the bank and we had plenty of runway. We sold to Consensus not because we needed to, but because we wanted to, which I think is a much better reason to sell. And there's really 4 reasons that I'd like to chat about for a minute here. And the first is they wrote the book on buyer enablement. Literally, Garen Hess literally wrote the book on buyer enablement, and figuratively, there is no other brand synonymous with buyer enablement and demo automation besides Consensus. They are the world leader. They invented the category from the ground up. Second is shared vision. Think about it from a relationship perspective, right? When you and another person or you and another group see the world the same way, it makes things a lot easier. And when I sat down with Mike Triunfo and Doug Johnson, one of our first conversations, the CEO and Chief Product Officer here at Consensus, it was freaky how similar we saw the world. I mean, it's almost like we were taking the same words from each other's internal HR handbooks. I think Doug actually at one point did say, did someone tell you our vision statement? So we both saw the world in a very similar way, and that's made our vision and our integration process seamless. Culture fit. I mean, now that I've been here for 3 months, it's very easy and obvious to understand why the last quarterly employment survey yielded that 99% of employees saw themselves at Consensus in a year. We threw a pizza party at my last company and we hit 95%, which is phenomenal, by the way. 99% unheard of. And then lastly, distribution channel. At the end of the day, it does come down to dollars and cents. And one thing that has impressed me time and time again about my last 3 months here at Consensus is how many big name companies go to bat and love the Consensus platform. But with that being said, Consensus knew and saw that in order to elevate from a pre-sales demo automation platform to a more full funnel product experience platform, there were some places in the product journey, in the buyer's journey, that they needed to address, right? And some of those places, as Mike mentioned a few minutes ago, is in the marketing and in the customer success, right? And that was where we owned the market. That's where we had the majority of our customers at top of funnel, and some of the sales and outbound motion, and then in customer success training. And so in order to become a true product experience platform, which we are now, finally, one solution for the entire full funnel buyer's journey, we needed to join forces. And we're going to talk again a little bit about that today. But one thing that I really like to talk about is how Consensus has been the world leader in pre-sales, and we've been the leader in marketing customer success. But I feel passionate, and I don't think I'm alone in this feeling, that this has created an unprecedented opportunity for pre-sales leaders to elevate their influence, to elevate their authority into the organization, their organizations, to get literally a seat at the table next to the CRO, next to the CEO, because as demo automation transforms into a product experience platform from first touch through expansion beyond, you, as the early adopters of this technology, have a natural pathway to grow, not only in your careers, but in your organization's ability to deploy this strategy full funnel from first touch through experience and beyond. And so I want to talk through some of these technologies, because what you're looking at on the screen is our product experience platform broken into our 3 different technology types, with the underlying artificial intelligence that we call clarity underpinning and bringing all of the data and insights together to next best actions. And so if we think about how are these three technologies and a fourth being the AI coming together, I'm really excited to do a live demo on that. So I'm going to show the new technologies that Reach Suite created that are now being folded into the Consensus platform. And then my colleague BZ, who's really the brains behind a lot of the technology that you've seen and touch here at Consensus. I think BZ just celebrated 11 years with Consensus. So you're really the guy, you're going to get the spotlight on showing how this is all going to come together to be one product experience platform. We've got some amazing demo for you on that as well. So I think if I just slide or I guess I have to reshare. Sorry, friends. Desktop 2. All right.
Here we go.
There we go. Zoom does not like switching the game too much. All right, can everyone see my screen okay? Mike, BZ, we're good to go? Awesome.
We got you.
So what I like to show, this is a very high level demo. Please reach out. Please reach out to your CS account manager, your customer success leader, your account executive. If you're a customer, if you're not, reach out through our form on our website. You'll be able to get hands-on with some of our technology. Come hang out and talk to us a little bit more because we're going to keep it very high level today. But that doesn't mean that we can't dive into the weeds with you tomorrow. So I like to just show real quick a high level snapshot of one of our customers, Phenom, being an enterprise HR, just to show off our intelligent discovery question automation. So if you think about our technology stack being a hub and spokes, right, we have our intelligent discovery question automation being the hub, which then feeds the buyer or the seller or the user to different spokes. Those spokes being the on-demand video, the interactive product tours, and the automated product simulations being spokes of different technology types that you can send the buyer. It all comes back to hyper-personalization. So you're going to be asked whether this is on your website for marketing, whether it's being sent to you in an email through SDRs and outbound, whether it's being sent as a leave behind after the meeting or in customer success, you're going to access this link, jump in, answer a couple questions. I'm in technology, I'm 20 to 50, I'm an HR manager, and I am looking to understand how I can better manage my recruitment campaign. So two things are going to happen when I click this button here. First is our technology is going to think about where to send the buyer based on how you answer those discovery questions and hyper-personalize the value story to the HR manager or technology company greater than 50 million who is being sent to or who's curious about how to manage campaigns. I'm not going to jump too far into their actual demo. There's one of our customers who is an amazing, amazing supporter. So I'll show you how Consensus uses interactive product tours to demo Consensus. In this case, this is not highly guided. This is a little bit less guided. This is how actually our Demo Fest live demo was given. But imagine going through this demo experience here, this interactive product tour. You don't even know that you're not in Consensus, but you're not. I'm going through an interactive product tour. Now, in this case, it's simply being guided with a highlight because in this case, I'm giving a live demo, but you can add call outs, you can add videos, you can add audio, you can add GIFs to engage the buyer as you're showing them around. And the benefit here is you're taking them through a hyper-personalized guided demo experience based on who they are and what they care about, rather than some generic demo that doesn't really resonate with anyone. The second thing that happens as you're going through all of those discovery questions is all that data is being logged back to your CRM as a structured data set. Oh, geez Louise, look at this. It wouldn't be a live demo if you didn't hit some kind of login, right? All of the data is being logged. That's how you know we're human here as well. All the data is being logged back as structured data to your CRM. You can report on it, you can track this data, and you can use this data to trigger account-based marketing campaigns. We have some brilliant demand gen and marketing operations leaders using the Consensus Reach Suite platform who have built workflows. If they answered blank discovery question, then send them this content campaign, then send them this SDR multi-threading, then trigger this retargeting ad. It's really brilliant once you see how folks are starting to use this technology. I won't go too much further, but one thing you're probably noticing is, wow, this is very dynamic. The reason why this is so dynamic, and when I click, I'm going through and using the technology and it doesn't look like a series of screenshots, is because we do not use HTML capture. We use what we call as API listening, which allows you to actually replay the API calls so that it feels, looks, completely presents as your real product, not as a series of static screenshots. There's a lot of benefits that come along with that technology choice. So I showed you the sausage. Now I'm going to show you how the sausage is made. I'm going to jump into the back end real quick, and then we're going to pass over to BZ because I want him to show you how we're bringing these technologies into one product experience platform. On the back end real quick, this is our intelligent discovery question builder. This is what allows you to ask questions, and based on how the user answers them, send them to different places in the product and string together various experiences. We call these experiences, but I like to call them Lego blocks. Literally, they are different experiences built in your product that allows you to send buyers to different places, right? It could be your core product, then your Salesforce integration, then maybe it's another part of your product. You can build these miniature little demo experiences, hook them all together, and send the buyer across your product and into integration seamlessly, like they aren't even realizing that how many screens you're probably having to go through to get them to these different places. It's completely seamless. Last but not least, you can ask as many questions as you want. Maybe if they say they're RevOps, you can send them to a demo experience, and then maybe after that, you want to ask them, hey, did this resonate? So you can start to use these Lego blocks or building blocks to customize how you're engaging the buyer in any way you want, any format you want. This is a wow moment for a lot of our buyers. BZ, do we have enough time for building a quick one, or should we run back into the PowerPoint?
You might have enough time to build one real quick if you want.
Luckily, BZ, that is one of the reasons folks love interactive product tours, is how fast it is. So when we went out and surveyed the market 3 years ago, we asked a lot of our customers, hey, what was the biggest challenge around building these product tours? And the question was always how long it takes to build and how long it takes to maintain. So what we have built here, I'm doing this live, right? I'm literally doing this live, is the fastest interactive product tour. Oh, give me 1 second here. Jeez Louise. I think my computer froze. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you. I wonder if it's interacting with Zoom at the same time, if you have to reshare.
Yeah, I just got an unresponsive. Here, give me 1 second. I have to just reshare. I love it. That's how everyone knows at least we're doing it real. All right.
Exactly.
Let me do this real quick here. Give a quick refresh. No experience. Oh, I think it is because it's with Zoom. Interesting. So we'll come back to that. But what I wanted to show you was the automated product simulation. So the third of the products we showed you, or we talked about interactive product tours, we talked about intelligent discovery, and then we talked about how this is all coming together with the on-demand video for product experience platform. But the third actual product that we wanted to show was the automated product simulation. This is the clone, right? This is solving the problems of, we have demo hygiene issues, we have sandbox issues, right? We have challenges around scaling our POCs. This is where customers like Churn Zero, Seismic have completely removed their POC and sandbox systems and process for SMB and commercial, and given it a very basic link that you can send out, and you can get tracked information on how the buyer is engaging. Instead of having to recreate a license, load it with dummy data, you can just send them literally a POC in a box where you can drop them into a demo experience here. Everything looks and feels completely real, and you can send this instantly with just one link. This is our consensus, right? This is our consensus sandbox. What you'll see here is powered by Reach Suite. This is not actually the consensus sandbox. It's not actually their real instance. It is a clone. So you could send this as quickly as one link. And yes, you can type and actually do things. So if I say, right, I'm going to drop this in here. Let's call it webinar, today's date. And then boom, continue on. I can keep rolling through. Head over to demo content. You can also drop guardrails. So let's say there's a place in the product you do not want the buyer to go to. You can guardrail it. You can pop up a little note that says, hey, it's not broken. We're just going to redirect you. So you can do all of that directly in the automated product simulation here. And it looks, feels like it's your product. No one would know it's not. All right, I think I went over, but hopefully that's exciting. And as always, please reach out to your CSM, reach out to your AE. If there's anything that you want to talk through deeper, we're excited to have you. But Brian, bring us home with how is all this going to fit into one product experience platform?
Let's do it. Thanks, Colin. Hopefully everyone can see why we were so excited about Reach Suite, about the offerings that they have. And as we are working with Reach Suite, and as Colin said, our goal is to essentially not have them be Reach Suite, but have them be part of the consensus team. We're continually trying to understand how we take all of the amazing products, those blocks that they've created, and how we transform them or build them into one amazing experience, not only for you as a buyer to be able to put those pieces together, but also that product experience platform for the seller, for you guys, but also for the buyer, for the person that's going through the process, a lot of times for the first time without knowing exactly how they're supposed to approach it, what needs to happen. So what we want to do is show you, let's say, behind the curtains a little bit and showcase the full funnel experience platform that we are trying to develop. And again, this is behind the curtain a little bit. So what you're going to see here is some Figma designs that our design team is working on to highlight how we want to pull in the strength of what Reach Suite has to offer and incorporate it inside of the base that Consensus has built. So one of the things we want to do is make sure that these are not disparate solutions that you've got to go over here to create that, and the buyer, you got to send the link over here for the buyer to get that available there. And if you want to give them the sandbox, well, here's another link over there. We want to be able to pull all of these experiences together to create that true product experience platform. And as Colin said, being able to combine what they have already, and really that's just the beginning of what we want to do at Consensus, but pulling what they have built out and being able to incorporate that inside of our solution is the key focus that we have in absorbing them into the Consensus family. So this is going behind the curtains into some of our Figma designers' brains, if you will, about how they want to take these elements and just like you're used to doing and creating those demo boards that contain all the security and privacy elements and things that allow you to be able to take this content that you've worked to create and allow that to be passed out to those opportunities, to those prospects, so that they can engage with it in a way that legal knows that you're safe. You're not sharing anything outside of that specific group that you know should have access to it. But the goal is that we can now draw in the strength of Reach Suite by not only including the feature personalization elements that Consensus already has available for you, but then being able to pull together elements about the Reach Suite interactive product tours right inside of that experience. And then after they've taken that tour, maybe you want them to go through, learn a little bit about that inside of that interactive product tour, where it's a little bit more flowed through for them to walk them through a process, walk them through an experience. And then maybe from there, right inside of that same demo board experience, you want them to be able to go hands-on and have access to that full open sandbox or whatever you've decided to open to them and guardrail other areas, so that they can now jump in and be able to dig around and understand how the solution works by truly getting hands-on. This creates an amazing experience for your buyers, because some of your buyers are going to want to be able to just dig into on-demand video, understand the value that's available, what it's going to do for the organization, and that's enough for that specific stakeholder to say, yeah, this looks great, let's move forward. Other stakeholders are going to want to dig a little bit deeper and be able to understand how some of those flows are going to work, how these pieces come together, and they're going to want to be able to connect with that on-demand video for social proof elements, as well as those interactive product tours. And then other stakeholders are going to want to go deeper. They're going to want to be able to put the mid on, throw the ball around back and forth, and really make sure they understand what they're buying so that they know the solution they're buying is going to provide them the answers that they need. It's going to provide the value that they need from that. And combining all of these together inside of that same experience will allow you to enable those buyers and each of the stakeholders inside of that buying group to get the value that they need to. So that's what we're focused on working towards. What I want to talk a little bit about now is what we've recently pushed out in order to make this a reality and how we can start to move in this direction. And essentially the way that we're doing that is by driving the idea that demo automation is multifaceted, that there's a lot of pieces that go into demo automation, both for the buyer and what we can automate and the experiences that they need, but it also connects to you and how you can create things. And hopefully you're starting to capture that vision of what Retweet has to offer, how Consensus's offering can connect with it in an incredibly powerful way. But we want to walk through what it means for those buyers and what it means and what the why is for you as a seller, right? As we go out and try to understand buyers, as Mike said, the person he's really thinking about the most is that buyer, especially that champion that's finding a solution a lot of times for the first time, not knowing what they're supposed to be doing and trying to navigate their way through the buying process. Some people have really good AEs that drive this, but Gartner and others have showcased that 83+% of the buying experience happens outside of that AE, where they're just digging around themselves, exploring in their own organization what it is that they're supposed to be doing to make this purchase happen. So we've started to understand more and more every day that guidance is absolutely vital for these buyers, because for most of them, it's a first-time experience, or if they've done it before, it was years ago, it was with a different solution, things in their org has changed, and there's a whole new process they've got to follow. We also understand that they need quick access to what that individual buyer needs, whether that is that deeper dive inside of that simulation in that sandbox, whether it's just that quick social proof on-demand video that helps them understand the value of what they're going to get. It has to be available to them easily and readily on the go, and it has to be effortless for them to be able to get that information to those other stakeholders that need to be part of that buying process. When I started Consensus 10+ years ago, I think it was about an average of 4 to 6 stakeholders inside of the buyer's journey. And back then we thought, man, how hard is it to get 4 to 6 people to agree on where to go to lunch, let alone agree on what solution to buy that has a high price tag to it, much higher than lunch does. Now it's sitting around 12+ people that are involved in this buying process. And so we need to make sure that it's easy to get all of those stakeholders involved, get them the access that they need. And then it has to be flexible and evolving, because as you learn more about that buying group, you're going to learn more about what their needs are. And we need to make sure you can deliver it to them in a way that adapts and evolves to their specific needs. Now, what does that mean for you as the seller? Obviously, that means you need to be able to do these things quickly, because things change on the fly. Opportunities come up out of nowhere. That was one of the things we loved about ReachSuite and their solutions, is they really thought through your experience on the creator side and how to make sure that you can put these experiences together incredibly quickly, so that as that need comes up for that buyer, if you don't have that asset already available to quickly add, you can quickly create it and have that available to then add to that board, that demo board experience. But we also understand that while it's great to put these experiences together for the buyer, you need to get instant feedback across that entire buying group about what that value is for them, about what areas they have of interest, so that you can understand how to follow up, how to be a consultant and truly make sure they understand that buying process. And you also need to gain deep insights about each of those individual areas, so that you understand those needs as deeply as possible, so that that 14%, 17% that you have available to actually talk to the buyers is truly as meaningful as possible. And all of this needs to be able to happen quickly and easily for you, right? If you're a creator, it needs to be quickly and easy for you to put these new assets together as you start to learn more about what those buyers need. If you're an AE, this needs to be something that easily flows inside of your current process, because you've worked hard to build out that strong process that you know is efficient and effective for you. And we need to make sure that we can build it right inside of those flows and make it easy for you to adopt these solutions that those creators build out and drive that value to your buyers as easily as possible. So the way that we are launching this whole vision is by what we call playlists. Playlists essentially allow you to take your demo board to the next level. It allows you to take what you're used to doing in that demo board and continue to expand on it. And because we're here live on a demo and we let Colin jump in, I'm going to do the same, and I'm going to jump into a live demo board that utilizes playlists. So first you can see what that buyer experience is like and how it enables them to be able to drive into different areas of content and be able to share that and build out that entire buying group all by themselves with the content that you provide them. And then we'll jump into the seller side so that you can see the additional insights and the aggregated information that you can capture by utilizing playlists. So if I'm a buyer and I jump into my playlist, if I click on the right tab, you can see I'm greeted with the same secure entrance cover page in that demo board that I'm used to experiencing, that you're used to sending as a seller. And let's say I am Doug. As I click into my experience, we're going to drive guidance right out of the gate. And instead of just throwing a page with a ton of information and videos and content and documents and things like that, and they don't know where to go, we're going to drive them right into that first automated demo experience for you that you get to control which one they enter in. And so right away, I can give that feedback about what's important, what's not important, and I can go through my demo experience. Again, that can include those interactive product tours, eventually be able to link them to those sandbox simulations to drive right in there. But as I'm going through, I can go through just like I would now and go step by step and eventually make it to the last video. And as I make it to the last video, be guided to the next demo that as a seller, I believe is going to be the next important piece for them to engage with. Or I can always jump into what demos I have available so that I can see maybe I want to jump right into some security and privacy stuff. Instead of having to have that next demo board, that completely separate asset to go into, I do any of the demos available in my playlist so that I can engage with them in the most meaningful way. Maybe I know the SecOps person, and so I'm just interested and I want to be able to jump in. I can jump in and I can go through that experience myself and understand exactly how consensus approaches GDPR, how they approach all their security elements. And I can rate this just like I can with the other demo, all inside of that same experience. But maybe I really understand that it's not me, it is someone else that needs to go through this because they're going to sign off on it. I can invite that individual right here on the fly, and it will share that asset with them directly. So when they jump in and go into this demo board with this playlist built out, they're not going to go to that first one that was great for that champion to get them started. They're going to go right to the material that was truly important for them, that was shared with them by the other stakeholder inside of their organization. So as this new viewer jumps in, they'll go directly to the privacy, security, and GDPR compliance demo to get the information they need. So if it is your C-level executive that wants to sign off and you need to get that for them, they may not be interested in walking through an interactive product tour, but it may be the social validation on-demand video that's important to send to them directly. And so we want to make sure instead of them having to wade through this page of tons of information, that they go directly to the asset to get that value, because their time is incredibly valuable. Each member of the stakeholder really is wanting to make sure they engage directly what's going to make that big impact. And that's what that champion wants too, so that nothing's getting held up because the C executive that needs to sign off on it isn't quite sure what he's supposed to engage with. And so playlists are the beginning of what allow you to drive this comprehensive experience for those buyers. Now, on the back end, of course, you need to make sure that you know exactly what's happening, how those stakeholders are engaging, who they're discovering, and who you're discovering as additional stakeholders inside of there. So now as I'm inside of this demo board connected to the one that we just walked through, I can see all the information about all the demos that I've added there. And I can see now the high-level aggregate counts of how many views have happened inside of there. I can see how much view time has been spent so that I can understand where my stakeholders are living, what they've engaged with. And maybe I see that, most people are jumping into the original intro demo, and I want to understand how they're engaging with it. Just like you're used to with your current demo boards, you can jump in and quickly and easily see how they're rating those features so that you can understand how to engage with those different individuals. Maybe I want to understand, how Amy specifically interacted with these elements, and I can jump in and see how she's gone through each of these. And I can jump into any of the demos that she's engaged with any of the sessions that she's gone through to understand exactly what that engagement has looked like. And then I can easily jump back out and jump into additional demos, or just look at the recipients individually. So I can see, okay, it looks like Amy is the one that's engaged the most with our demo board. And then I've got James and others that are starting to dig in there. Maybe I need to reach out to Corey and understand how to get him more engaged. But this brings all of the analytics of what they're engaging with, what's important to them, how they're engaging with the different assets that you're making available inside of your demo boards, in a way that you as a seller can now understand that next best action that you can provide to make sure that you can be that true consultant on the fly for them, and continue to guide them through that sales process, and continue to build on this demo board and add that next asset as they continue further down, without overwhelming them with everything at once, and allow it to naturally evolve for them as they gain more and more knowledge about how your solution is going to help them. Okay, so jumping back in, the last thing that I wanted to make sure was clear is that this is something that's going to be available from anywhere. We know it's important to make sure that being able to take advantage of these features is right in line with your flow. So you'll be able to create these demo boards with playlists right from inside of Snap and Google, in your Gmail, inside of Outlook, inside of SalesLoft, Outreach, Salesforce, HighSpot, and all these other additional integration endpoints that we have, to make sure that taking advantage of this solution, of the playlists, of the eventual integrations with the amazing Reach Suite products that Colin presented to us, are available from everywhere you're used to already working, and being able to take advantage of those consensus features. And the very first thing that you'll be seeing coming out is that integration with Reach Suite interactive product tours, where you'll be able to take those amazing product tours created through the Reach Suite solution and include them right inside of your demos, and utilize those tours inside of those to be able to include them in your demo boards, include them in your public links if you're using us on that lead generation side, so that you can take advantage of that Reach Suite solution right inside of Consensus, the way that you're used to taking advantage and sending out those demo boards and using those public links. All right, I know I'm right at time, if not a little bit over, so I'll just wrap up by saying our goal in the end is to make complex B2B buying simple, easy, and intuitive, not only for you guys in working with your sellers or as sellers, but for your buyers. And as we make progress, we want to continually hear from you guys about what's landing well, what's working well, where we can make those improvements. So as you see these new features come out like playlists, make sure to reach out to your CS member, let them know what you really like, what you don't like, where we can continue to make things easier for you and easier for your buyers. All right, Mike, I will stop sharing and pass it back over to you.
All right. Thank you, BZ, Ryan Zurcher. Awesome info that you shared with us today. And the product is coming along really well. The integration with the Reach product set is coming along really well. More to come on that. So excited to keep pushing that out to you guys in the marketplace. Let me pull back up here and get this back going. All right. Okay, so the future of demo automation enabled by generative AI. You may remember, you may have heard that we've talked about how what our AI strategy here is at Consensus, and you may remember us introducing Clarity. Clarity is an AI persona that we have embedded into our product, and today Clarity can help you with the platform. She can answer any questions about how to do things, recommend um, documents you can in the knowledge base. She can also help you with fire enablement. I mean, like Colin said, we literally wrote the book. Our founder, Garen Hess, wrote the book, Selling is Hard, Buying is Harder. And that book is Clarity hasn't been memorized. She can answer any question you want about it inside the platform. And she can also help you find a demo. Like, let's say she understands the transcripts of your demos. And so if you have something where you're like, hey, I need a demo that's such and such for security and such, then she can recommend those demos to you. And here's some good examples of that I just screen capped here a couple weeks ago. Platform help, buyer enablement help. What are the main principles of buyer enablement? Empowering champions, viral stakeholder discovery, etc. And then again, also, what's a good vision demo I can send a new prospect that takes the core high level tenets of the Consensus platform. And tomorrow though, we're really excited to announce that Clarity is going to be helping your buyers. Now, Clarity will sit in the demo board with your buyers. Now, she won't be called Clarity. She'll be called whatever you guys want it to be called. However you would like to personify her or him. And there we're focused on four main things right now where buyers can learn about your platform. So let's say they finish the demo board, they can engage with your AI persona and say, hey, tell me more about the security. And then that AI persona can suggest a video or a document or an interactive product tour. Um, they're just going to be able to help your buyers find and engage with more demos. So know your knowledge base for your platform. She's going to be able to help with stakeholder discovery and give you information about other stakeholders that you might want to share with. And she's also going to be able to help you get connected to the AE or to a BDR so that you can control when the meetings happen. One of the things that I think is important for buyers is that they're the ones that say when the AE shows up and doesn't, not necessarily the AE. And I love that they have the reins, and we're going to give your buyers the ability to do that, to control when the push and pull of the stakeholders, the push and pull of the buying group, or excuse me, of the selling group into the process. Now, the future of demo automation is driven by product experience. Our product experience platform here at Consensus is coming along quite well. We're building the full journey support. We're recognized leaders in our space. We're enterprise ready. We're not stopping there. Like I said, we're going full funnel. We're multifaceted, highly customized, nonlinear experiences for each buyer in the group. We're going to make it so that your AEs see an entire buying group land on their calendar automatically, already well educated, already understanding and having lots of their needs, understanding what the product is, having experienced it, and also understand what questions that need to be covered in that meeting to be very, very efficient. Shortening those sales cycles, increasing close rates, powered by AI. We're building our platform is going to allow your buyers to engage in a way that gives you lots of data about their engagement. AI will also have access to this data to help you as the seller understand how you can work better for your buyer. And it also helps the buyer understand how they can operate better to support you as the seller. And as the buyers go through their journey and the engagement data is collected, sellers get insights about the next best action for themselves and also their buyers. And AI brings these two things together. And that data is tremendously, tremendously valuable. And therefore, in this scenario, buyers get a world-class buying experience. And hopefully for that, they buy. The future of demo automation is cross-functional, right? It's across marketing, it's across pre-sales, sales, client success, and beyond. It's powered by partnerships. We're partnering with some great companies. It's marketing and sales enabled. It's powered by our platform and your genius. Take your genius with our platform and improve your buyer's experience. Thank you. Appreciate your time today. Nicole.
Thank you guys. That was really great content. We really, really appreciate you sharing with us. I know Colin did a great job answering some questions during the webinar, but we do have two more that popped up. And then I'll also kind of let everyone know if you do have questions, please feel free to add them to the Q&A. We have some time to go through them now. So the first question is, will users be added to this recipient list even if a prospect forwards the link to someone else in their company? Meaning, will analytics be combined together even if I don't send it to them directly?
In the case of a demo board, right, as you have those interactive product tours integrated into there, that's where you have the functionality to allow new viewers, if they just send that URL link, which is pretty common if you're just slacking to your colleague, right? Then you have the opportunity to capture that individual as a new viewer, and you can set up that cover page in ways that drive that new viewer to fill in their information real quick so that you can now capture all of their engagement uniquely as an individual stakeholder, as opposed to it being all lumped under one person where that same link is being shared. So that's how we try to drive that functionality is making sure right at that entry point that we're capturing who it is that's engaging with it, and then we can track it based on that.
Awesome. The next question is directly for Colin. He's thinking of an instance, for instance, a search field. If the person driving the demo enters a search term, could it lead to different search outcomes?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are effectively replaying the API call, right? So whatever your API call would play back when someone searches that, it will play back that result, right? The benefit is you can also block folks from searching data that you don't want them to. For example, we have some customers who are database. A lot of their value is encapsulated in the data itself. So if you were to give someone access to a open world sandbox, they may be able to just kind of rip out your data and head on the way, and you're stuck with no value left to give. And so in that instance, a lot of customers love using the automated product simulation to narrow in the feeling of getting hands-on with the product, searching for something, but not having the ability to rip out and take all of the data and run with it, because ultimately it is an automated product simulation, not here's our product, go use it for a month and come back, right? That's not the goal of this technology.
Awesome. We have another question that came in that asked, what best practices have you seen in organizations for building up the demo library and keeping content current?
Yeah, that is a great question. There are so many different assets, pieces of content that can be built. What we find to be one of the more successful approaches is to start with your top requests from your either sales teams that you're getting, or understand what those harbor tours are that you're giving in a repetitive nature, and start there and understand the value that you're getting. And then use an opportunity to validate off of that and understand where there are additional assets you can continue to build up. And then over time, that starts to build out naturally that library in a way that's helping to ensure that you're building the most meaningful content first. And that's not to say that there isn't more meaningful content along the way. And I'm sure sales reps will continue to ask for different pieces of content. But I would look at, as a content creator, where can I help reduce a lot of the repetitive work that I have utilizing consensus, and then enable my sales rep with that content, and then be able to go deeper after that. In terms of updating the content or making sure that it's fresh, a lot of that's going to depend on your own engineering team's delivery cadences. If you're having regular updates every couple of weeks, or if you're having an update, a few times a year, then that's going to determine how frequently you need to check that content and understand if it needs to be updated. Sales reps are always good opportunities of getting feedback on that as well, where if they're demoing something but realizing that, okay, this is a little off from what I'm seeing live, then that can be a good feedback loop as well. But inside of Consensus, you can download a report that will showcase the last time your video was updated. And that's a great way for you to check and understand, okay, the last time that videos were updated in this demo is 6 months ago, is a year ago. That's a really good opportunity for you to check that demo content and ensure, is this still in line? Is it still providing value? Or is there an opportunity where it's actually going to cause confusion because what's represented in that demo is a little bit outdated from what the current element is? And then Colin, I'll let you jump into some of the really cool things that ReachSuite has done in updating content as well, and some of those best practices on that side.
Yeah, so I mentioned during my demo that we interviewed 300 customers and asked them what was the biggest challenge with existing tour incumbents. And while there are about 4 or 5, 2 that came up were building the demo experiences and auto updating or maintaining the demo experiences, and the need or desire to have a technology that could update and refresh them as your product evolves, right? We know that our engineering teams and our product teams work very, very hard every day. And the result of that hard work is a change in their product, a change in your product, which unfortunately can be very time consuming to maintain with incumbent technologies, because you have to rebuild and refresh all of your demo content. We built a technology called auto updating that allows you to click a button, and with no hands or no effort, Our auto updating will run, it's an AI bot that will run back through your demo platform and allow you to automatically refresh that content, redrop all of the same callouts, all of the same content will magically reappear where it was. The only difference is we'll update the underlying UI so it updates with your product's evolution. And that's completely with a click of a button. So it removes all of those hours and days of updating when your product evolves. That's it.
Great.
Happy to answer any more questions.
Yeah, we are reaching the end of the hour. I don't think we have any outstanding questions, but if anyone, later in the day thinks of something, please feel free to reach out to either your consensus point of contact or go ahead and take a look at our website, fill out our form, get in touch with us that way. But we just want to thank everyone for joining us today. Thank you to our presenters for lending their time and their expertise. We really appreciate it. We hope to see everyone at either the Demis next month or Demo Fest X next year. So thank you all, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks.